It's 10:47 in the morning. You are 19 years old. Your Messerschmitt shakes as you dive into a wall of American bombers, dozens of them, wingtip to wingtip, each one bristling with machine guns. Somewhere above you, faster than anything you've ever flown against, a shape rolls out of the sun. A Mustang. Your throttle is already at the stop. Your hands are steady. Your mouth is dry. You have 11 seconds to decide if today is the day you die. 6 hours earlier, none of this had happened yet. It's 4:50 a.m. Spring, 1944. Western Germany. You wake in a farmhouse requisitioned for pilots, the walls thin enough that you can hear the man next door coughing. You've flown 11 sorties this month. It's not even the 15th. Your name is stitched into your flight jacket, but nobody calls you by it anymore. They call you by your aircraft number. On the nightstand, half written, is a letter to your mother. You started it 3 nights ago. You don't know how to tell her that your class from flight school, the boys you trained with, is down to 6 names. You were 19 when you signed up. You still are. It has only been a year. Your friend Eric sleeps in the bunk across from you. He's the closest thing you have to a brother out here. He snores like an engine that won't turn over, and normally that makes you smile. This morning it doesn't, because yesterday, over breakfast, he said something quietly, almost like a joke. "I don't think I'm going to get old, you know." You told him to shut up. He laughed. Neither of you meant it as a joke. You dress in the dark. Your hands find the buttons without needing to see them. Somewhere outside, ground crew are already working. You can hear tools against metal, a low hum of urgency that never really stops anymore. Today, command says, the bombers are coming. A big one. Everyone already knows. You just don't know yet what shape the danger will take. Breakfast is bread and something that used to resemble coffee. Nobody talks much. Talking costs energy you might need later. At the airfield, your BF109 waits under camouflage netting, engine cowling still cool. You run your palm along the wing the way some men touch a rosary. It's superstition. You'd never admit that out loud. Your mechanic, an older man who fixed tractors before the war, tells you the plane is ready. He always says it like a promise. You've learned not to ask him if he means it. You check the small things the way you always do. Fuel gauge, ammunition count, the photograph tucked behind your instrument panel, a woman and a small house you haven't seen in 14 months. You touch it once, out of habit, and put it back. You wait. This is the part nobody shows in the newsreels, the waiting. Hours of it. Cards get played and forgotten mid-hand. Someone hums a tune from before all this started. Eric lies on his back in the grass, eyes closed, and for a moment you both look like boys skipping school instead of men about to fly into gunfire. You think about your training, barely 100 hours in the air before they sent you to the front. The pilots ahead of you had triple that. It shows sometimes in the ones who don't come back. You've watched new arrivals land shaking after their first scramble, and you remember being one of them not so long ago. A younger pilot, freshly arrived last week, asked you what it's like. You don't know how to answer honestly, so you tell him to keep his eyes moving, always moving. It's the only advice that's ever kept you alive. Then, just after 10 in the morning, the field telephone rings. Command's voice is flat. Bombers, a large formation, heading toward an industrial target. Fighters scrambling, all of them. You run to your aircraft. Eric runs to his 10 meters away. He looks at you once, just once, and gives you the same small nod he gives you every time. The engine catches. The propeller becomes a blur, then a sound, then a decision you can't take back. You lift off the grass strip, and the ground falls away. You already know how this crew intends to fight today straight at the bombers, nose to nose, because coming at them from behind means flying through 100 gun barrels at once. It's the only way anyone survives long enough to matter. You climb toward the contrails. Somewhere up there, the day is about to change shape completely. You see them before you understand the size of them. Bombers, dozens, then more. A silver river in the sky, engines droning like something ancient and unstoppable. Your formation spreads out. Fear moves through your chest, quick and cold. Then specks, higher, faster turning, fighters, American ones. Not the old kind, the new kind. The kind that can fly all the way to the target and all the way back and still have fuel to hunt you on the way home. Mustangs, your throat tightens. Radio chatter cracks through your headset, clipped, urgent, half swallowed by static. Someone calls a warning. Someone else doesn't answer. You scan the sky. Left, right, above, there, a shape rolling out of the sun, exactly where the light hides it best. Your hand tightens on the stick. You think for half a second of the letter still unfinished on your nightstand, of Eric's small nod, of your mother's handwriting on the last envelope she sent you. Then you push all of it away, because there's no room for any of it up here. The bombers are still ahead of you, the mission, the target, the reason you're up here at all. But now there's something behind you too. You have seconds to choose which fight you're already in. You push the nose down and dive at the bomber formation, because turning to fight the Mustang means giving up the only advantage you have: speed and surprise. Tracers streak past your cockpit, thin orange lines that don't feel real until one clips your wing. The bomber's turret guns fill the air in front of you with fire. You aim for the engines. Hold your line. Hold it. Hold it. You fire. Then you're through the formation, engine roaring, and the world behind you is chaos you can't see and can't afford to think about. The Mustang is still there. Closing. You roll hard. Dive. Feel the aircraft shudder at the edge of what it can survive. G-force presses your vision to gray at the corners. For 3 full seconds, you don't know if you're going to come out of this dive at all. Then daylight. Level flight. Your hand shaking on the controls. The Mustang is gone. Peeled off, maybe after another target, maybe out of fuel, maybe saving itself for someone else's afternoon. You're alive. You scan the sky for Eric's aircraft. You don't see it. Your radio calls his number. Once, twice, static. You circle. Once, searching. Your chest tight in a way that has nothing to do with the altitude, and then you see him, low, trailing smoke but flying, turning back toward the field. Alive, hurt, maybe, but alive. Something in your chest that had been clenched since dawn finally, barely, loosens. You land on shaking legs. The ground crew count aircraft coming back. Not all of them do. Eric's plane rolls in behind yours, engine coughing, one wing scarred with bullet holes. He climbs out slower than usual. He doesn't joke this time. He just sits down in the grass and stares at nothing for a while. You sit beside him. Neither of you says anything. You don't have to. Later, your mechanic runs his hand along your own aircraft's fuselage, counting new holes in the metal like a man counting scars. He says nothing either. There's nothing left to say that the two of you haven't already said with silence 12 times before. That night, by lamplight, you finish the letter to your mother. You don't write about the Mustang, or the fire, or the second you thought might be your last. You write that you are well. You write that you think of home. It isn't the whole truth, but it isn't a lie either. It's the only truth you're allowed to send her. You seal it, knowing it may take weeks to arrive, if it arrives at all. You were 19 this morning. You are still 19 tonight. But something in you has aged regardless quietly, permanently, the way it does for boys who fly this kind of war. He was one pilot, on one afternoon, in a war that swallowed millions of afternoons just like it on every side, in every uniform, under every flag. Tomorrow you'll sit in a different cockpit, wearing a different uniform, looking up at the very same sky from the other side of the fight.